Hi, and welcome to Halloween Candy and Whiskey Part 2. Again, I'm going to use a bourbon, rye, and scotch and try it with 4 different pieces of Halloween candy. Just kind of walk through that experience and have a little fun with it, right? So this episode's bourbon is Ranger Creek's 36 Texas Bourbon. It's a pretty standard bourbon. It's got a mash bill of 70% corn, 16% rye, and 4% malted barley. All right, for the rye, we're going to use Devil's River small batch Texas rye. This one has a mash bill of 51% rye, 45% corn, and only 4% barley. For the scotch, Glenfiddich 14-year bourbon barrel reserve. Now what makes this one fun is, so it's aged in ex-bourbon barrels, but then they finish it in brand new charred American oak. So it kind of gives that bourbon at heart and scotch in its soul, according to its website, which I found pretty cool. All right, so this episode's candy, Gobstoppers. I'm going to use the orange one. Laffy Taffy, banana. Sweet Tarts, I am using the pink one. And then, last and finally, Strawberry Nerds. For some reason I didn't find the grape in there, so I'm going with strawberry. Okay. Alright, we're going to start off with the Gobstopper, the orange one. Since these things take a while, I'm just going to try them as I enjoy the Gobstopper, I guess. So first up is Ranger Creek's Texas Bourbon. Traditional notes of vanilla and caramel, sweetness on the nose. It's almost like that combination, almost like orange bitters. Like I literally just poured orange bitters into a glass and took a sip. Oh, let's do it again. Yeah, nothing but like, it's literally orange bitters. Oh man. All right, on to Devil's River rye whiskey. There's some sweetness. Taste the earth, or smell the earthiness of the rye. There's a little bit of spice and leather to it. Better. Not as bitter by any means. But still not great. Maybe I was wrong. All right, so it does bring out more of the orange flavor in it, but the rye grain and that whiskey just don't mesh well with the orange Gobstopper. Maybe I should have chose a different flavor and color. Maybe another video. All right, on to the Glenfiddich. Oh, that barley smell, that cereal grain smell. Light, crisp, refreshing. All right, that actually really brought out the grain flavor in the scotch. Took away some of like the fruit characteristics and things like that you normally get in that, and just really kind of highlighted the grain. But then the finish did something unique. it brought out all the floral notes in the finish. Okay, hands down, winner of the orange Gobstopper is the Glenfiddich. Mm. Totally. Oh, and after biting into it and getting all the candy sweetness to it, yeah. Better. No, still orange bitters. Oh. All right. Onto the banana Laffy Taffy. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work because Laffy Taffy is not necessarily the easiest thing to eat. I'm going to start with Ranger Creek's Texas Bourbon. Wow. Okay. So it actually brought out a little bit of banana flavor in the bourbon, which is not uncommon. I mean, Old Forester has that characteristic for me. All right, I'm going to move on to Devil's River Rye. Mm. It takes away from the whiskey, but doesn't seem to enhance the Laffy Taffy, if that's even a possibility. But no, it kind of brings out the citrus notes and a little bit of sour taste in the rye. All right, moving on to the Glenfiddich 14-year-old Bourbon Barrel Reserve. They really complement each other well. In the Scotch, it kind of has a bit of kind of that more fruity notes, but it does lean more towards the kind of banana style flavoring, but the grain's still there. Um, all right, I'm gonna have to give Glenfiddich 14-year-old the winner with the banana Laffy Taffy again. Again, choose a different flavor Laffy Taffy next time, and it may be different, but yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to the sweet tart. Got to do something to cleanse out some of that Laffy Taffy. Oh, all right. So the pink flavor, whichever that is. We're going to start with the Ranger Creek's bourbon. Better um, than the Gobstopper and Laffy Taffy, but still there's this odd taste towards the end. After tasting the sweet tart, I think it is the strawberry flavor. Um, there's just something I can't place on it. Let's try it again. All right, so it really enhances the strawberry flavor of the sweet tart. Um, and that's, I guess, what that odd flavor is making it very tart, and less of the sweet in that. All right, moving on to the Devil's River Rye. All right, so it brought out the tart, but less of the strawberry. Um, Interesting. All right, another double take. Ooh. Definitely all tart, no sweet. Mm. All right, moving on to the Glenfiddich 14-year-old Barrel Bourbon Reserve. Ooh, again, really highlights the tart. a little better, but oh. All right. All three of these, what they really did was pull out the tartness of the sweet tart. Didn't really bring out any part of the sweet. The closest one that did that, and which I'm going to have to declare the winner, which is, oh, not even really winning, is the Ranger Creek Texas Bourbon. The thing about the sweet tart is tart candy and whiskey does not seem to be a good combination. All right, moving on to the final candy of the day, Nerds, which Nerds happen to be a personal favorite. I like the strawberry, I like the grape, I like pretty much all the Nerds. I mean, it's basically pure sugar, right? With some flavoring in there. Now, this is the strawberry. If it's any indication from the sweet tarts, I'm not expecting any favorable results. All right, starting with Ranger Creek's Bourbon. All right, completely different response than it was with the sweet tart. Actually, highlighted more the sweetness and brought out more of the vanilla in the bourbon. All right, that time it didn't bring out as much sweetness, but it did bring out a little bit more sweet. Also, kind of curbed some of the alcohol burn to it. All right, moving on to Devil's River Rye. It's kind of plain. It really just kind of overpowers the whiskey, and I really just kind of get an enhanced post nerd flavor. I mean, kind of that not sweet, but kind of flat flavor. Yeah, I mean, it's really what it does is it enhances the kind of the finish of the nerds without being sweet. Um, it's actually a good balance, I guess, in the sense that you don't have this really sweet taste. Think of it as a palate cleanser, right? Uh, Kind of really what it does. All right, moving on to Glenfiddich, a 14-year-old barrel bourbon reserve. Interesting. Kind of like with the sweet tart, it brought out the flavors of the grain and took away a lot of the barrel flavors that you get and kind of more of a just pure barley type flavor profile. Again, kind of it really just kind of takes away all the barrel flavor and brings out the grain flavor from the barley, which is lovely. I mean, it's a clean cereal type um, flavoring profile. I can tell you the rye is not the winner, but going back and forth between the bourbon and the scotch, I think I'm gonna have to do a repeat here. All right, going back to Ranger Creek's Texas bourbon. All right, it really highlights the strawberry flavor, which I like in that. But there's also a little bit more tartness to it. All right, moving back to the Glenfiddich 14-year-old bourbon barrel reserve. Ooh. All right, that's a toss up. I'm, I'm not going to declare a winner on those two. I mean, both the Glenfiddich and the Ranger Creek are both great pairings for um, the Strawberry Nerds. Are about as great as you can get, right? Um, Again, I have not tried every whiskey or every style of whiskey, and there may be some that pair better than others. But for this series, for consistency, again, I'm using bourbon, rye, and a scotch. future years, maybe I'll use an Irish whiskey and so forth. But this series is based on those and 4 candies. And so it's Halloween. Let's have some fun with the candy that we get. Clearly, strawberry things that are tart are a little bit more difficult to pair with whiskey. Things that are a little bit sweeter tend to, from a candy perspective, at least based on these 2 episodes, are a little bit easier and kind of fit across all the whiskey style ranges. But continue to experiment, and you know what? Do your own pairings and let me know what you think. Until then, cheers.